Should you be excited about the Riot MMO? Everyone who plays MMOs has heard about the upcoming Riot MMO, but rather than delving into everything we know, I'll be going what we do know and if you should be excited for it. So let's start with the MMO itself. First of all, it's not called World of Runeterra, though that was obvious as they're trying to be a better Blizzard Entertainment, not a copycat. The game is still very early in development, with most senior jobs mostly being filled in July 2021. One piece of good news, though to some it might be bad news, is that the game will likely be cancelled if it's a raging dumpster fire. That's good news in the sense we won't get an unfinished game that will die months after release, sadly like New World. It's bad in the sense that we don't know what Riot Games and Ghostcrawler, the lead developer of the Riot MMO, considers to be bad or unreleasable. Though Ghostcrawler did go on to clear up that the game is coming along well and that there isn't any rush to push the game out before it's ready. So far, so good. They've set reasonable expectations and they are promising a high quality game, in worst case, a good one. They will have PvP, though that shouldn't be surprising considering this is the company that made League of Legends and Valorant. They'll have raids and dungeons, which is pretty stereotypical for an MMO. The devs have stated the game has broad appeal, as in it will be casual friendly without removing the challenge for high-end players. They are aiming to be a big MMO and perhaps to be the first MMO to indisputably claim the crown from Blizzard's World of Warcraft. Not that they've said that, but they do have competition with Ashes of Creation coming out in the relative same time period. As in, we don't know the release date for either of these games. Ghostcrawler has talked about how no matter what they do, there will be people who don't like the MMO. In his quotes, "We're going to make some choices that you may not agree with. Players want different things in their games. That's fine. Some of you, shudder, may not love the game at all. Also fine." Based off this simple tweet, we can see that they're focusing on making a game that works for the masses, is fun, is simple, it's inviting, and that works in a modern environment. They aren't going to try to cater to every audience and fail at all fronts. They are working on what they think will be a good game, and that itself is fantastic news. Riot wants the MMO to have early playtesting and feedback, meaning that they aren't going to release a product that's not ready and unprepared to handle the giant influx of players it's going to have on launch. He is hoping that the game doesn't come out anywhere near as broken as New World did on launch, though none of the games Riot has released to date have had horrendous launches. Combat wise, we're looking at action combat based off a job listing, but Ghostcrawler declined to give further details, though he did say that Riot was good at combat. But as an avid League of Legends player, I do hope the game has less 200 years of design when it comes to balance. The game itself is going to be developed in Unreal Engine, meaning the game will be designed faster due to not having to develop their own engine, whilst already having people skilled in the software, though as of now it is unconfirmed as all we have is job listings to go off of. We will likely have the traditional class trinity of tank, healer, DPS, and we have the best feature of all time 100% confirmed. Fishing is in the game. There will likely be more updates in the coming months, though plans can always change, so if we don't get more news this year, expect some early next year. And if we don't get some early next year, well fuck. There will likely be a lot of customization, though in this case, they're talking about gameplay. Not everything can be justified by being easier to balance. Though this has been stated, I will wait to see before I fully believe a sentence like this. And that whilst there will be customization in specs, talents, skill trees, or what else the game will have or how it will be called, we cannot confirm how free or restrictive they will be, but based on how they talk about it, it could honestly go either way. In terms of character customization, as in races and appearances, we don't know how diverse customization will be, but transmog will likely be in the game considering that Ghostcrawler, who leads the Riot MMO, coined the term in MMO terminology back when he was leading the WoW team. Though we could break down all the tweets, the information, the vague messages and hints, we're just gonna stop for a moment and talk about everything we just discussed. Though before that, I'd like to shout out my man Ryve Genesis and his incredible Google document in which he has gathered all information in regards to the game and compiled it almost perfectly. His socials and the link to the Google Doc will be in the description. God bless this man and go check him out. Now though, looking at all the tweets, which is where most of this information comes from as Ghostcrawler and Mark Yetta answer people and state things on Twitter, we can see that they have high hopes, expectations, plans and innovation in mind for the Riot MMO. They want to innovate, they want to change without losing what makes an MMO, but also changing enough to make it a new, unique experience that isn't a copycat of WoW, Final Fantasy XIV, or any other game or MMO that is currently out there. People want something new. They want something that's different and reinvigorates the desire to play, to enjoy the MMO genre. So after going through what little information we have, we can take a short look at Riot's other games and then come to a conclusion on whether or not you as a player, as a person, should be excited for the Riot MMO. League of Legends, for all the shit people have given it, is actually a really well designed and maintained game. It's been over 10 years and they've stayed modern, relevant, and consistently growing. The honestly one thing I will complain about here is how shit your battle pass is, Riot. It really sucks. Sure, the new champions in League are obnoxious, they're essentially broken and constantly shift the meta unexpectedly, but the game is modern, it's fun, and it's good. The same can be said for Valorant. It's another game that's good, that's solid and relatively balanced, has an active player base and is constantly growing and is well cared for. Legends of Runeterra, their card game, again, is another game that is honestly in a really good spot in all situations. Riot, for all the shit that they're given, for all the hate they get, can honestly make really good games with monetization that isn't obnoxious, is relatively player friendly, though again, the battle pass is bullshit, please fix it. Some of these games can be hard to get into for a new player, but they have made great strides to improve the games in that aspect. So in conclusion to this long video, yes, you should be excited for the Riot MMO, not because it's going to dethrone WoW or be the best MMO out there in the market, but because it's going to improve the genre as a whole, whether it's the game for you or not. Riot makes good games, and whilst portions of the games they make might not be for you, the games they make are solid and well taken care of and are very largely played. The Riot MMO is likely going to be a very good, very strong game in the genre that will reignite people's passion and excitement to play another MMO. It might not be as good as Ashes of Creation, it might not be as good as WoW or Final Fantasy, but it will be a huge game in the market that will bring people back to the genre as a whole. And honestly, anything that breeds competition in the MMO sphere is good for everyone who plays the genre. But please, if anyone at Riot ever watches this, fix your godforsaken client. I have never seen a client as bad as the League of Legends client. Anyways, thank you all for watching and I hope the video was informative and helpful. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe as it helps the channel out a lot. Ebonheart out.